Picture two cousins. Same family, same hometown, same starting salary at 24. For 30 years, they earn almost the same amount. One of them retires at 60 with the house paid off and a quiet calendar full of nothing she has to do. The other is still working at 67, refreshing her bank app before every grocery trip, hoping the number is bigger than she remembers. Same income, same decades, completely different lives. It was not one big mistake. It was 12 small ones, repeated on autopilot for 30 years. Things that felt normal, things everyone else was paying for too. Today, we are going through all 12. Some of them are sitting on your bank statement right now. By the end, you will see the one thing that actually separated these two cousins, and it has nothing to do with how much they earned. My name is Finn. I have spent years reading about money, how it works, why people make the choices they make, and what actually separates people who build wealth from people who do not. One book that changed how I think about everyday spending was Your Money or Your Life. It taught me that every dollar represents hours of your life, and most people are trading those hours for things they barely use. This is Finn Sharp. I explain money simply. Let us get into it. Most of these 12 things were genuinely worth it once. That is exactly why nobody questions them now. Here is the paradox. The longer you have paid for something, the harder it becomes to stop, even after it stops being useful. You are not loyal to the service. You are loyal to the habit. It is a Sunday night. You are scrolling your bank statement before bed. A charge catches your eye. $108, labeled cable bundle. You cannot remember the last show you actually watched live. You think, I should cancel that. You close the app and go to sleep. That pause and forget moment happens to almost everyone, and cable is the biggest one. The average cable and internet bundle now costs around $188 a month, and standalone cable TV alone runs over $100 a month for most households. Most people are paying for hundreds of channels and actively watching maybe 10 of them. The price keeps climbing every year, but the number of channels you actually use stays the same. Not because you decided to keep paying for it, because canceling takes a phone call, and forgetting takes nothing at all. Here is what that bundle costs over time: $188 per month for cable and internet. A lean streaming setup costs roughly $80 per month. That is a gap of $108 every month. $108 x 12 months equals $1,296 per year. $1,296 x 5 years equals $6,480 total. That is nearly $6,500 for channels you mostly scroll past. That forgotten cable bill could be a year of your mortgage payments. A forgotten cable bill is bad enough on its own, but the same trap that built cable has quietly rebuilt itself, inside the thing that was supposed to replace it. Here is the contradiction. The cheap alternative you switched to years ago has become almost as expensive as the thing you switched away from. It is a Tuesday evening. You are scrolling through your phone, trying to find a show. You open one app, not there. You open a second app, not there either. By the third app, you remember you are paying for all three, plus two more you have not opened in months. That 3-app search is the moment most people realize streaming quietly became cable again. The average household now juggles around 5 streaming subscriptions, spending close to $70 a month just on those. Add a couple more just for one show subscriptions, and you are well past $80, sometimes pushing $140. Each individual service feels cheap. $10 here, $15 there. None of them feel like a decision. That is exactly the problem. They never feel like one. Not because streaming is a bad deal, because 5 small, cheap things quietly become one expensive thing. Here is what stacking 5 services actually costs. 5 streaming services averaging $14 each equals $70 per month. $70 x 12 months equals $840 per year. $840 x 5 years equals $4,200 total. Compare that to rotating through one service at a time, spending about $15 a month average. $15 x 12 months equals $180 per year, a difference of $660 every single year. You replaced one big bill with 5 small ones and ended up close to the same number. That same small charge, easy to forget, pattern shows up somewhere far more emotional and far more expensive in the long run. Here is the paradox. The purchase that feels the most responsible can be the one that quietly costs you the most. It is a Thursday morning. You are at your desk, opening an email. Subject line: your extended warranty renews in 7 days. Price: $1,200 for the year. You think, better safe than sorry. You click renew without reading the rest. That click, better safe than sorry, is one of the most expensive habits on this entire list. Extended car warranties now average close to $1,900 a year, with monthly plans often running $90 to $140. They exist because most cars, especially newer or well-maintained ones, rarely need the kind of repair that justifies that cost. Many credit cards already extend the manufacturer's warranty for free, just for using that card to pay. And nearly a third of warranty claims get denied anyway, often over maintenance paperwork people did not know they needed to keep. Not because you were careless, because just in case feels responsible, even when the case almost never happens. Here is the real math on 5 years of warranties. $1,900 per year for an extended car warranty. $1,900 x 5 years equals $9,500 total. In that time, you actually use the warranty for a major repair, 0 times. $9,500 bought a feeling of safety. Not actual safety. That feeling of safety, paid for again and again, is not limited to car warranties. It shows up in the device that almost everyone is carrying right now. Here is the contradiction. The thing people say they need to upgrade the most is often the thing that has changed the least. It is a Friday evening. You are at the phone store. The salesperson shows you the new model. It looks almost identical to the one in your pocket, but it has a new color and a slightly better camera. You think, mine is getting kind of old. It is 14 months old. That kind of old at 14 months is where a huge amount of money quietly disappears. Flagship phones now cost over $1,000. But the difference between this year's model and last year's model is often small. A slightly better camera, a slightly faster chip, features most people never touch. People who upgrade every year are not paying for better technology. They are paying for the feeling of having the newest thing. A feeling that fades within days, not because the new phone is bad. Because newer and worth $1,000 more are two different things. Here is what yearly upgrades cost compared to a normal cycle. Upgrading every year, $1,000 phone minus $400 trade-in equals $600 net cost per year. $600 x 4 years equals $2,400 total. Upgrading every 3 years, $1,000 phone used for 3 years equals roughly $333 per year. $333 x 4 years equals $1,332 total. The difference over 4 years, $1,068. For a phone that does almost the same thing. That extra $1,000 was the price of a feeling, not a feature. Phones are not the only thing people upgrade for a feeling. The exact same pattern shows up with something far bigger and far more expensive. Here is the paradox. The thing that makes you feel like you have made it can quietly be the reason you never actually do. It is a Wednesday evening. You are sitting in traffic in your new car. It still smells new. Someone in the next lane glances over. You feel good for a second. Then you remember the payment due in 9 days, $750. That 9-day thought is the real cost of buying a feeling instead of a car. The average new car now costs around $50,000, with monthly payments close to $750. A new car loses about 20% of its value in the first year alone, even with 0 miles added. People who buy new cars every few years are not just paying for transportation, they are paying every time for that first week feeling, and losing thousands of dollars to that drop before they even adjust to the payment. Meanwhile, a car that is 3 to 5 years old does the exact same job. Same roads, same commute, same destination. Not because new cars are wrong for everyone, because most people are paying new car prices for a feeling that fades in 2 weeks. Here's the real difference over 5 years. New car, $750 per month for 5 years. $750 x 60 months equals $45,000 total. Car bought 3 years used. Similar model, $480 per month for 5 years. $480 x 60 months equals $28,800 total. The difference, $16,200 for a car that arrives at the same place at the same time. $16,000 is the price tag on "it still smells new." That new car feeling fades in weeks. But there is one purchase pattern that fades even faster, and most people repeat it every single day without noticing. Here is the paradox. The purchases that feel the smallest in the moment often add up to the biggest number by the end of the year. It is a Wednesday afternoon. You are at the gas station, grabbing a bottle of water on your way to the register. It is $2.50. You barely notice. You do this most days, sometimes twice. That barely notice moment, repeated every day, is one of the most underestimated leaks in anyone's budget. A single bottle of water from a convenience store can cost the equivalent of $12 per gallon, more expensive than gasoline. Per person, bottled water can add up to $450 to over $1,400 a year, depending on how often you buy it. None of these purchases feel like spending. That is exactly why they never get questioned. Not because any single bottle is expensive, because repeated small spending slowly becomes invisible. Here is what a daily habit adds up to. $2.50 bottle of water, once a day, 6 days a week. $2.50 x 6 days equals $15 per week. $15 x 52 weeks equals $780 per year. That is nearly $800 from something that felt free. $800 a year was hiding inside a $2 habit. Small, daily purchases drain money quietly. But one purchase on this list is sold using fear. And fear is one of the most expensive feelings you can buy into. Here is the contradiction. The product sold as protection for your family can sometimes protect the seller's income far more than it protects you. It is a Saturday afternoon. You are at home, and an insurance agent calls about a policy that builds savings while protecting your family. The pitch sounds careful, responsible. You think, that sounds like the smart thing to do. That word, smart, is doing a lot of work in that sentence and not in your favor. Whole life insurance policies often cost 10 times more than simple term insurance for the same amount of coverage. The savings part inside these policies grows slowly after fees and commissions eat into it for years. A much simpler approach, cheap term insurance plus investing the difference yourself, usually ends up worth roughly double over 20 years for the same family protection. Not because insurance is bad, because mixing protect your family with grow your money usually does both jobs worse. Here is the real math over 20 years. Whole life policy, $5,500 per year for coverage and savings. Term policy, $400 per year for the same coverage. Difference, $5,100 per year freed up. $5,100 per year invested at a steady return for 20 years. Becomes roughly double what the whole life savings would have grown to. The gap is not small. It is often the difference between retiring and not. That same fear-based pitch. Pay more now so something bad cannot happen. Shows up in one more place. And this one almost everyone has, sitting quietly in their wallet. Here is the paradox. The thing that is supposed to protect you financially can quietly become one of the things draining you. It is a Saturday afternoon. You are cleaning out old emails and find a car insurance renewal. Same provider, 6 years running. You think, switching sounds like a hassle. You close the email. That sounds like a hassle thought is one of the most expensive thoughts in personal finance. Insurance companies count on loyalty. The longer you stay without comparing prices, the more your rate quietly creeps up, even if nothing about your situation has changed. New customers often get the best rates. Existing customers get small, steady increases. Each increase looks tiny on its own. A few dollars here, a few dollars there. Easy to ignore. Easy to forget you were even paying it. Not because your risk went up, because staying quiet is more profitable for them than it is for you. Here is what 6 years of not checking can cost. Year 1 premium, $1,200 per year. Increases by roughly $60 a year, even with 0 claims. Year 6 premium, $1,200 plus $60, x5 equals $1,500 per year. Over 6 years, total paid, roughly $8,100. If the price had stayed at $1,200, total would be $7,200. The difference, $900 for doing absolutely nothing. Loyalty to a company that never checks on you is an expensive kind of trust. That quiet loyalty does not just apply to insurance. It applies to the gym too. And this one comes with a feeling almost everyone recognizes. Here is the paradox. The purchase that represents your best intentions can become one of your biggest wastes for the exact same reason. It is a Monday morning, the second week of January. You are walking past the gym on your way to work. You think about going in tonight. You do not. By March, you have been twice. That I'll go tonight, thought, repeated for months, is where gym memberships quietly become expensive donations. The average gym membership now costs around $58 to $69 a month. But about 67% of members rarely or never use what they are paying for. Half of new members quit within 6 months. Yet the charge keeps going. The membership was never really about the gym. It was about the version of yourself you hope to become. And companies know that hope is worth charging for every single month. Not because fitness is a waste, because paying for a feeling is very different from paying for something you use. Here is what an unused membership costs. $65 per month for a gym you visit twice a month. $65 x 12 months equals $780 per year. $780 x 3 years equals $2,340 total. A pay-per-visit pass at $15 per visit twice a month. $15 x 2 equals $30 per month x 36 months equals $1,080 total. The difference, $1,260. For the exact same 2 visits a month. The gym was not selling workouts. It was selling hope, billed monthly. Your cousin who retired at 60 did not earn more than the other one. Not even close. But somewhere along the way, she started checking things. She called her insurance company every 2 years and asked for a better rate. She kept her car for 7 years instead of 3. She canceled the gym membership she was not using and walked outside instead, for free. None of those moments felt big. Each one probably felt almost too small to bother with. But repeated for 30 years, those small checks became the house that was paid off, and the calendar that had nothing left to demand from her. Your other cousin never made a disaster decision either. She just never checked. The cable bill crept up. The warranties renewed themselves. The car got replaced every few years because the old one felt old. Each individual choice was completely normal, which is exactly why none of them ever got questioned. Here is the big truth. The gap between these 2 lives was not income, and it was not luck. It was 12 ordinary decisions, repeated quietly for 30 years, about where the money was allowed to go without anyone asking why. None of these 12 things are evil. They are just things that used to make sense, and quietly stopped, while still charging the same amount, waiting for someone to notice. If this changed how you see your own monthly spending, there is more where this came from. FinSharp exists to explain money in a way that actually makes sense. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. And remember, the goal of money is never to spend less on everything. The goal is to stop paying for things that already stopped paying you back.